What's up, guys? So I'm bringing you a quick little arc warlock build. It's going to be very good for blinding a lot of targets along with jolting a lot of targets. You're going to have really great ad clearing capabilities with this build. Similar to my Titan build, it's almost kind of like the warlock version of that build with a little twist. So if you enjoyed that build, then I think you're going to like this one. And without further ado, we'll just jump straight into it. Okay, for the super, you're going to want to run Chaos Reach. Both are really good options. Storm Trance is still really good. I run Chaos Reach. It does pretty decent boss damage, but honestly, you're mostly going to want to use it to clear ads. It's not the best for boss damage. Neither one of these supers are, but I would say Chaos Reach is my personal favorite. I run Healing Rift, Burst Glide, Ball Lightning, and Pulse Grenade. Pulse Grenades are just easily the most powerful arc grenades right now. I prefer Ball Lightning. Once again, either one of these works fine if you prefer Chain Lightning. Then we're going to run the Arc Soul aspect and the Electrostatic Mind aspect. Now, what these are going to do is, of course, you're going to get an Arc Soul from this. That's about all that does. When you cast a Rift, you're going to get an Arc Soul. And the Electrostatic Mind is going to give you Ionic Traces for defeating jolted or blinded targets. And that will, a lot of stuff is going to be either jolted or blinded with this build. So that's very important. Along with, it does make you amplified for picking one up. For fragments, I'm running Spark of Resistance, Spark of Shock, Spark of Focus, and Spark of Magnitude. Resistance is mostly just for that extra damage resistance because our exotic, we're going to basically constantly be surrounded by enemies, so that's just good to have. The Spark of Shock, grenades are going to jolt targets, just more damage and more Ionic Traces and everything from our grenades, so obviously we're going to pick that. Spark of Focus, that's just to give us our wells back a little bit faster for running, which does come in handy. We're going to be using those a lot. And then Spark of Magnitude is just to give our Pulse Grenade a couple extra pulses before it disappears. And then starting with the weapons for the build, similar to my other builds, the weapons don't really matter. Running any kind of arc weapons with an arc siphon mod on your helmet is, always smart just for the extra orbs of power or whatever, but you don't need them. You can pretty much use whatever you want. I'm running this shotgun here. It's really nice, has osmosis on it, so I can make it arc if I want to. Also has Demolitionist, which is nice. I have a few different options of stuff I can run on this, so not a bad option there for the shotgun. You could also run an auto rifle for barrier, or just whatever you really want. Just what I'm running. I actually don't usually run the Aikilos SMG here, but I thought I'd throw it on because it wouldn't be a bad pick for this build. I have Volt Shot on it, which honestly is not a horrible roll. So something, arc there to help with an arc siphon mod would be good. You could also run something like the 7th Seraph. I went ahead and pulled that out of my vault just to mention it. Not a bad option. Other really great options would be the Cold Heart or the Trinity Ghoul. Both really good arc exotic weapons. Cold Heart, that'll give you more Ionic Traces. You'll remember that if you watched the Titan video I released. That gun's great for Ionic Traces. It's really good on damage. It's good on everything. So Cold Heart's a really great option. Trinity Ghoul is still probably one of the best ad clearing weapons in the game. So if you're doing something with a lot of red bar ads, Trinity Ghoul is probably the way to go. For the exotic, I usually rock the Thunderlord. Personally, it's the Thunderlord. It's still really good. It's arc, so it's gonna work with your arc siphon mods. Really great. Another great one is, of course, the Hothead. It's a arc rocket launcher, so it works great. Once again, you can use pretty much whatever you want. If you wanted to use something like the Half-Truth Sword, you could. Doesn't really matter. But those are kind of some of my personal picks. If you were going to swap something out, a lot of the time for easier difficulties, I run the Thunderlord. If I'm doing harder difficulty activities, I'll usually put on the Hothead and then run something like the Cold Heart or the Trinity Ghoul, or sometimes I'll throw on neither one of those. I'll just run a random weapon here and throw on Arbalist for the good damage and barrier. But once again, these aren't too crazy important. But starting with our mods, we're going to be running Ashes to Assets, Heavy Ammo Finder, and an Arc Siphon on the helmet. Extra super energy on grenade kills, increased chance to find heavy ammo, and just final blows with arc weapons are going to give you orbs of power. Pretty self-explanatory. On the gauntlets, we're going to be running firepower and grenade kickstart. For some reason, Bungie disabled some of these mods here, so you actually can't use them right now. Otherwise, I would say to run like an impact induction, because we're going to be mostly focusing on our wells and our grenades for this build. But for some reason, and they, to my knowledge, have not stated why, they have temporarily disabled these mods without giving a real reason. So I would say to run something like that, but right now they're disabled. So I'm just going to say throw on a firepower and a grenade kickstart for the tiny bit of extra grenade energy when you use it. About all we can really do there right now. For the chest piece, I run an arc reserve mod because, of course, if you're running an arc siphon and you're using arc weapons, especially special or heavy, of course, because you get infinite primary, you're going to want arc reserves for that extra ammo. It's really, really nice. Then I always run the sniper resistance mod. You're getting shot from long distance way more than you probably think you are. And then I run the harmonic resistance for the reduced arc damage, because why not? The leg armor, once again, these are very similar. I pretty much run these on all of my builds. They're just really nice to have. You could very well trade one of these out for an arc weapon surge to get the extra damage. That would work great. I've ran it a few times depending on your activity, especially say boss damage phases. You run that and then have people on Well of Radiance run your Radiant Light. That's really great. You'll get a couple stacks of armor charge and instantly get that extra damage buff from the arc weapon surge. So if you want to do that, that works great. Works phenomenally. Really good for boss damage phases and raiding or whatever. But just for general content, I run these mods for extra health here, extra ability cooldown across the board there, and the extra grenade cooldown there. So that's why I choose what I choose there, just for regular activities. But like I said, for raiding, it's not bad to run whatever kind of weapon surge you need. Along with, on the Warlock bond, if you're going to run the weapon surge, running a time dilation is really, really nice, because you'll get that buff for longer. That's going to make it so your armor charges disappear a little more slowly. But once again, for general content, I run double bomber and a distribution. More grenade cooldown just for using your well, which in this build we're going to be using our well a lot. And just, you know, reduce cooldowns across the board when using your class ability near targets, which we are going to be using our class ability near targets a lot. So, all in all, that's about what we're doing. For the exotic, of course, as you saw just a second ago, we're running the Vesper of Radius. Reason that this is such a great option is, well, it's going to make your rifts ridiculously overpowered. It's going to allow you to deal a decent chunk more damage, along with blinding everything, including champions and all kinds of stuff. So you can stun unstoppables with this. All you have to do is run up, throw your well within a decent distance of an unstoppable, or say like an unstoppable is pushing you. You can just throw it right when he's getting close to you. It'll stun the unstoppable. So it's really nice. Blinds champions, stuns unstoppable champions. It does a pretty good amount of damage. It'll pretty much wipe most, if not all, red bar enemies in the game. Really, really good. And because it has a blinding effect, due to our electrostatic mind aspect, that is also going to create ionic traces for defeating the enemies that we blind. So really, really good. Some good synergy going on there. And it's also going to recharge our It's going to recharge our well very, very quickly when we're surrounded by targets. So that's why we're going to be running up, throwing it in the middle of targets. As long as enemies are around us, we're going to be getting that well back very, very quickly. And every time we throw that down, that's also going to give us grenade energy and such. So really good loop. And for the actual character stats, obviously max resilience and then discipline. That's all I'm going to say. The rest is up to you. Those are my two personal picks. You could run, you know, intellect or whatever. Wouldn't be bad. But personally, discipline and resilience. You're not going to need your super very much. Super's nice when you get it, but it's not like super big part of this build. So recovery is also nice. It's going to give you your well back faster, but our exotic is honestly going to do way more than recovery is going to do for your well. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. But I would definitely say resilience and discipline are your two main stats to focus on here. And past that, recovery if you can. But other than that, we will just get into actually how to play the build. And of course, real quick before we do that, this is what the artifact is going to look like. Pretty basic stuff. You're just going to want to spec anything arc pretty much in the artifact. Once again, this is exactly what I run. You can go through and pick them out and just copy this. Works great. Okay, so here in this deep dive, you can see we're just going to run over to this group of enemies. I'm going to toss a grenade in first and then run up and throw down my well, which is going to pulse everything, blind everything. And you can see we already have half of our well back that fast, along with another grenade. And I'm actually going to get my second well off before my first one even disappears here. Get more pulsings coming off. And I mean, you can see all these enemies are red swords. I don't exactly know how under level I am for this, but they're all red swords. They're not just, you know, normal destination enemies or anything. And I'm giving them the works. So you're going to want to just do that little combo, mostly just run in, throw your well, throw your grenade, either order, spam your gun a little bit, whatever, and then you're going to want to just rinse and repeat, really. I mean, that's about it. Throw your melee in there, just cycle through all your abilities, but initially you're going to want to run into a group, throw down your well, throw your grenade. Both of those are going to start recharging really fast so long as there's enemies around. Preferably throw your grenade first, because throwing your well down is going to give you some of your grenade energy back. So you could throw your grenade into a different group of enemies or throw it into the same group of enemies and then throw your well down. Doesn't really matter, but preferably throw your grenade first, because throwing your well down is going to give you your grenade energy back anyway. So then you're going to start getting all kinds of ability regeneration, both from enemies being around you for your well, and ionic traces are going to be getting created left and right. So you're going to be getting, you know, your grenade and well and stuff back really fast. And then if you get another well, you're going to throw that down, which is then probably going to give you your grenade back again, and just all kinds of stuff. Basically just going to want to sit there and do that loop over and over and over. When you get your super, if you feel like it's necessary to use it, throw your super in there too if you're fighting some more difficult enemies, you know. Really your call on that. But that's about it for the video, guys. So if you guys like it and you want to see more build videos like this, then feel free to let me know, or throw any suggestions for what you want to see down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and see you later. I still like men.